Thanks for making CNN 10 part of your Tuesday. I'm Carl Azus, delivering your objective explanation of world events, and today that includes news concerning India, Japan, and Serbia. First, to the moon. Things have not gone as planned in a recent mission by India to make a soft landing on the lunar surface. A soft landing means a spacecraft has a slow, controlled descent, and spacecraft from only 3 countries, the United States, China, and the former Soviet Union, have ever done this. India's attempt to become the 4th country in that club probably ended in failure over the weekend. We say probably because scientists aren't sure yet what happened. There are 3 components to its mission: an orbiter to circle the moon, a lander to touch down on it, and a rover attached to the lander. On Saturday, the lander was descending toward the moon's surface. It was a little more than a mile above it when contact was lost. Scientists don't know yet how hard it hit the moon, how bad the damage might be, or whether the instruments aboard can still get some work done. They have located it, but they're still trying to get a signal from it. Even if it's destroyed, though, the mission isn't a total loss. The orbiter is still doing its job, circling the moon. Its mission is to map the moon's surface and to study its atmosphere. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in the mission control room when contact with the lander was lost. He said in life there are ups and downs, but that India is still proud of its scientists and their hard work. Back in the Western Hemisphere, an American aid official says it looks like nuclear bombs were dropped on parts of the Bahamas. It's been more than a week since Hurricane Dorian, then a Category 5 storm, made landfall there. And the fact that it moved so slowly over the Bahamas' northern islands only worsened its effects. While 45 people have been confirmed dead, officials expect the number will rise drastically as search and rescue officials make their way through the wreckage. The U.S. Agency for International Development, which gives money and assistance to people in need, says it plans to contribute almost $3 million to the relief effort in the Bahamas. Entire neighborhoods there have been lost.
To get to the places still cut off by Hurricane Dorian, we have to go by boat. We've been traveling now for about 2 hours by boat. It's the only way to get here. This is our destination, the easternmost end of Grand Bahama Island. We know that it got hit really hard, but not much else. The road is still closed here, and we have not heard how the people here are doing. We really don't know what we're gonna find here. We head from Freeport to McLeanstown, the last settlement on the eastern tip of Grand Bahama. Dorian filled in the channel and scattered cars throughout the small harbor. We have to navigate around the submerged vehicles. We're going over a car right now. It's a car underwater there. McLean's looks like a war zone, and there are fatalities. McLean's has been wiped off the map. It's difficult to conceive the force that could cause this kind of damage. It's just otherworldly to think the winds and the water could bury so much of this town under broken trees, broken houses, and we really don't know what is underneath all of this rubble. It'll probably take weeks or longer to dig out and find out what is buried here. All around us is an eerie quiet. It is the sound of a town that has died.
But the Bahamas isn't the only place dealing with the effects of a severe storm. Across the Pacific, Japan has just weathered a powerful typhoon named Foxeye. It made landfall in the mainland Monday with wind gusts as high as 120 miles per hour, and it passed over the Japanese capital of Tokyo. Electricity went out for almost 1 million households, and more than 100 flights were canceled, which stranded 6,800 passengers at one of Tokyo's 2 international airports. Highways were closed, rail lines were shut down, ships were forced to stay in port, so the typhoon temporarily paralyzed transportation, and the Japan Meteorological Agency had warned residents to stay inside anyway. This happened 5 days after a separate storm hit North and South Korea. Typhoon Lingling brought high winds and heavy rains to the region, damaging homes, farms, and thousands of buildings.
Typhoons are hurricanes, are cyclones. They are the same thing, just in different oceans. A lot like a hot cake is a flapjack, is a pancake, is a short stack. If you are west of the dateline, so west of Hawaii, north of the equator, you're a typhoon. If you're in the Atlantic or the Pacific around America, you are a hurricane. And if you're around the Indian Ocean or in the Southern Hemisphere, you're a cyclone. So it's not out of the question for a hurricane to become a typhoon if it moves over the dateline. In fact, after crossing the international dateline, Hurricane Genevieve turned into Typhoon Genevieve a few years ago.
10-second trivia. Belgrade is the capital of what landlocked European country? Bulgaria, Croatia, Romania, or Serbia? To get to Belgrade, you have to travel to Serbia, a nation a little smaller than the U.S. state of South Carolina. As the crow flies, Belgrade is almost the exact same distance from Beijing, China, as it is from Washington, D.C. Belgrade's a little over 4,600 miles from each capital. Yet the small European country of Serbia has become significant to both East and West, with China and America wrestling to have influence there. According to the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, China is Serbia's third largest import partner, behind Germany and Italy, which are much closer. And while Serbia's government type is a parliamentary republic, a form of democracy, it's a communist state that many Serbians see as their nation's good friend.
Follow the tracks on the outskirts of Belgrade, and you get to Central Europe. Follow the money, and you end up somewhere very different. The new tracks bear the markings of China Railways, one of the major Chinese projects in Serbia, moving the Balkan country from its traditional allies in the west to the Red Dragon in the Far East. This steel mill was once owned by U.S. Steel. When it couldn't make money, the Americans sold it to the Serbian government for $1 until the Chinese stepped in. Retired construction worker Vojislav Milenkovic says the move saved his hometown.
People do see the Chinese here as rescuers. We would like them to stay here. If they leave, this would mean disaster for many of us.
China bought the plant for a premium of $51 million, then poured more money into it.
In villages here that rely on the steel mill for employment, it is China that looks like the savior. It builds this perception that it's Beijing to the rescue, and it grows Serbia's reliance on a different superpower.
It's not just infrastructure. Chinese police will soon start patrolling in Serbia, given a rise in Chinese tourism. Telecom firm Huawei is installing surveillance cameras in the capital of Belgrade, and there are plans for Huawei to build a 5G network here, despite U.S. security concerns about the Chinese tech giant. All of it is a red flag to America.
We're trying to support them to move in one direction. They should be careful about where they're going.
Kyle Scott is the U.S. ambassador to Serbia, part of an effort to bring the two countries closer. Last month, the White House hosted the Serbian foreign minister in Washington, who then urged Serbs in America to support President Donald Trump. The door of friendship is open, but China is coming in, bringing money and loans. For Serbia, which didn't respond to our request for comment, the new attention means a boost to the economy, much-needed infrastructure projects, and a powerful friend coming into the region.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a motorhome, it's a shed. And if you think that sounds like no ordinary shed, you're right. This garden storage unit on 4 wheels is powered by a 4.2-liter V8, and it's capable of going faster than 80 miles per hour. So why would someone build this and then put 34,000 miles on it? Well, it did set a Guinness World Record for fastest garden shed. So if you need to get your tools fast, wheel barrel through traffic, or test the limits of spade, don't throw in the trowel. Hop in the speed shed and rake in a record for hose power while leaving your competition in sheer defeat at a dusty fork in the road. I'm Carl Azuz, planting and pruning puns on CNN 10.